Hey everybody, how's it going? Once again, this is Dr. Matt Dorsey. Let me just get everything positioned here. And I'm here on an Instagram Live once again with you guys to talk about supplements quality. I've got the camera flipped today, which is a little bit weird because when I do this, it's on the opposite side. So I'm getting used to that. A little bit strange. Welcome everybody. But the reason I did that is so I could tell you guys about this blog. Yes, 3 easy ways to tell if a supplement is junk. It's a blog that I wrote a little while ago. Just real quick, for those of y'all who don't know, my name is Dr. Matt Dorsey. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. I am a licensed acupuncturist, medical herbalist, and nutritionist. And I do all the formulating for CHOC. I'm also the CHOC Chief Scientific Officer. So been doing a lot of these lives. They're a whole lot of fun. And I will be able to answer some of y'all's questions in just a little bit. But I want to talk about this blog. Again, wrote this a little while back. It's called 3 Easy Ways to Tell if a Supplement is Junk. And yeah, just wanted to go over some of this with you guys. If you want to go to chalk.com/blog and check this out, you can. Hey, Phyllis. Seems like I see you every time on here. That's awesome. Very cool. So anyway, let's talk about way number 1 to tell if your supplement is junk. Look for low bioavailability vitamins and minerals. Do you guys know how to find that in a product? What do I mean by low bioavailability vitamins and minerals? Well, let me put it this way. There are a lot of very, very cheap products out there, and there are a lot of even more expensive products that still use cheap ingredients. Oftentimes, the cheapest version of a vitamin or a mineral is the one that they figured out how to make first, chemists did, and a lot of the time that is a synthetic version. So perfect example is folic acid. How many of you guys know why folic acid is such a problem? So I'm going to quote from the blog here. As many of you know, there's a huge percentage of the population who do not tolerate folic acid due to the MTHFR gene mutation. Though there are many other mutations as well, such as MTRR, FOLR1, and FOLR2. For these folks, synthetic folic acid will either be ineffective or in some cases can even cause harm. Methylfolate, however, which is the natural form, works just fine for them, and in fact can be a godsend when they finally figure out they need to switch, as it can improve their health dramatically. Folate is a very important nutrient. If you're taking a product that uses folic acid, just know that's a marker for poor quality. The only reason you would ever use folic acid is to save money. It's way, way cheaper. Methylfolate, which is the bioidentical form, which is the form that we use in our products. Specifically right now, the only product is Apex glutathione, which we're working on getting back out pretty soon in the market. But that's one great example. So let's put it this way. Cheap folic acid from China, I was able to find for $60 a kilogram. The patented, clinically researched folate that you might find in a product like Chalk's, $12,000 per kilogram, 200 times the price. Yeah, that's right. 200 times the price. Not sure how easy that is to read, probably fairly difficult, but see this part in red right here? Now, it's a little too hard for me to hold that up, but there's a part in red in the blog. This is a list of all the different nutrients that are the synthetic version that you want to avoid. So if you do read the blog, scroll down, all the way down to right here in the red. So here are some nutrients you want to look out for. You want to make sure they are not in any product you're taking, and if it is in one product you're taking, then it's a marker for poor quality. Synthetic folic acid, cyanocobalamin, which is the fake version of B12, DL-alpha-tocopherol, that's a vitamin E that's synthetic. Ergocalciferol is going to be a lower quality vitamin D, also known as vitamin D2. Magnesium oxide, very, very junky form of magnesium. That's going to be this one right here. That one's important for you guys to know about magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide, very, very low bioavailability, and it tends to have more of a laxative effect. Zinc oxide as well. Any mineral that ends in oxide, very poor bioavailability typically. Calcium carbonate, that one's a poorly absorbed form of calcium. And then finally sodium selenite, which is a really junky form of selenite. So in my time in the industry, which is about 12 years now, I have kind of created my own way of grading supplements. In fact, for a while I was actually working with a software engineer to try to automate this. That project never got off the ground. But when I see a vitamin, like a multivitamin, for example, or any other product, I will give it an A through F grading. And I use, each one of these is like docks you a few points if you use any of these ingredients. So that's a really, really big one. You want to be looking out and making sure that, so for example, the selenium that we use is called selenium glycinate. That's selenium. That's going to be an amino acid chelate. Anytime you bind a mineral to an amino acid, it's going to be much higher bioavailability. We also use, obviously we use methylfolate. We don't use the cyanocobalamin. I mean, we use methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin. When it comes to B12, that's going to be a more bioidentical form that is already pre-methylated and easy for your body to use. And then, of course, any of the other minerals that we use or vitamins we use in the future will always be the more bioavailable kind. So that's number one. Again, number one is make sure to look out for low bioavailability ingredients. And you can use this blog, can you actually use this blog right here as just a way of grading your supplement and look for all those ones in red. All right, number two, watch out for proprietary blends and fairy dusting. This is a really big one, guys. Proprietary blends and fairy dusting. So what does that mean? So we have a YouTube video all about proprietary blends. Some of y'all might have seen it if you're on our Chalk YouTube channel. Proprietary blends, long story short, it's a way of sort of protecting your secret sauce as a supplements company, right? And I'm sure you've seen them before. I actually have an example in here of what a proprietary blend looks like. I made one up. This is a fake proprietary blend, right? So check it out. You've got this mega pump blend, Madman mega pump blend, right? And you have several ingredients: fenugreek, turmeric, green tea, grapeseed, yohimbe, tonkat, resveratrol, CoQ10. Now, notice all you know is the total. Now, why is that a problem? Well, these ingredients are in descending order from top to bottom, right? So all you know is that they total 1,500 and they're in descending order. That means that this fenugreek right here, right? This fenugreek could literally be 1,450 milligrams of fenugreek, and then just a few milligrams, maybe 1 or 2 milligrams, even of these bottom ones like resveratrol and CoQ10, which are going to be more expensive ingredients, of course, right? And you're getting underdosed. We also call that fairy dusting. I call it also label fluffing. It's a way of fluffing up the label and making it look really good. So when you look at the label, you see ingredients that are great, that you want, that you know are really hot ingredients, like maybe resveratrol, for example, right? But again, you have no idea how much they're putting in there, and they're probably underdosing you. Now, does that mean every company that uses proprietary blends is bad? Not necessarily. No, there are some good companies out there. I'm not going to name any names, obviously. There are some good companies out there that do use proprietary blends, but the thing is that you have no idea if you're actually going to be getting active doses of any of these ingredients at all if it's a proprietary blend. So let's just scroll down again. And now let's compare. This is an actual label. This is Chalk Armor right here. Notice Chalk uses full disclosure labeling. We have the actual ingredients here and the actual number of milligrams here for every single active ingredient. So you can do your own research and figure out, is this actually doing anything for me? You know what I mean? So for example, Paractin, research-based dose, 300 milligrams. Quercefit, research-based dose, 500 milligrams. Those are our two chief ingredients. Estrogen, research-based dose, 50. This is a very, very potent ingredient. This is just a few isolated phytochemicals from a couple different plants here. And then, of course, we have a half dose of lemon balm and about a half or a third of a dose of astragalus, of an active dose, because those are going to be more deputy-type herbs. They're not going to be the chief ingredients in there. But you can actually see how much we're putting of everything. So we are one of the very, very rare companies that does full disclosure labeling. Full disclosure labeling, very important. We do not use proprietary blends, period, end of story. Because yes, other people can copy us, but we would rather just walk our talk and just say, look, we're going to do this no matter what. We don't care what the consequences are, because we want to actually show you guys how important it is to be transparent. So again, this company, who I named Red Flag City Nutraceuticals, if you see this kind of stuff, just be on the lookout and ask yourself, are these last couple ingredients, like how much is even in there? God only knows. It could literally be 1,490 milligrams of the fenugreek, right? And it could be 1 or 2 of every single other ingredient, and that would be completely legal. It's highly deceptive, but completely legal. I'd also like to read you a quote here. There's a supplements watchdog group called Consumer Lab. Here's their statement on proprietary blends. The major problem with proprietary formulas, as well as with proprietary blends and complexes, is that they permit manufacturers to withhold important information about what's really in a product. Proprietary formulas are often developed around an expensive ingredient like CoQ10 because this allows a company to use less of that expensive ingredient. We have seen this with ingredients such as chondroitin and joint supplements and SAMe. We also see proprietary formulas marketed for such uses as cognitive enhancement, nerve pain, or weight loss, blah, 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 with a laundry list of ingredients having only shred of evidence relating to intended use. So again, maybe you want a supplement for heart health, right? And you're like, okay, well, I read some research that says that 300 milligrams of this form of CoQ10 is really excellent to promote heart health, right? And then you see a proprietary blend, just like this one, right? And you're like, oh, it's got CoQ10, that's great. Thank God, CoQ10, right? No idea how much is in there. Any chalk product out there, we will tell you the exact number of milligrams of every single ingredient. And we even tell you the origin of some of the excipients, like if there's some sort of flow agent, in there, basically, we'll tell you exactly what the deal is. All right, so what else do we have? So you want to know the difference between powdered herbs and herbal extracts. This is one that most people have no idea how this works. So look at the back of the label. If it doesn't say anything about it being an extract, then it might just be raw herbal powder. It's very, very important to do this. So if you're buying herbs, like let's say you go and you buy some real cheap herbs, and you're just buying like lemon balm in a capsule, right, from a certain company that makes a lot of single ingredients, right? And then it just says lemon balm, 500 milligrams per capsule or 800 milligrams per capsule or however much they fit in there, right? If it doesn't say extract, just know that that's just raw herbal powder, completely unprocessed. So not only is it harder for your body to absorb, but it's much harder to fit a large amount of active compounds into one dose, into one capsule. So when an herb or a mushroom perhaps undergoes some kind of extraction process, it can make it anywhere on the low end from maybe 3 to 5 times as potent as the raw herb, up to a couple hundred times as potent, literally. Our strongest extract is going to be Tomcat 100. That's a 100 to 1 extract. That's one of the reasons it's called Tomcat 100. It's also 100 milligrams per capsule. So we use a Tomcat Ali, wildcrafted Malaysian Tomcat Ali, that is 100 to 1, meaning that 1 gram of this extract is equivalent to 100 grams of plant material, right? Whereas if you were to buy another Tomcat, it might just literally be Tomcat in a capsule, unextracted, right? And you might even be paying the same price because a lot of these companies are just trying to rip you off, that you have no idea what you're getting unless it actually says extract, right, on the label. So some of our extracts are 5 to 1, some of our extracts are 10 to 1. We have some extracts that are 80 to 1, that are 100 to 1. So that's very, very important. You want to know extracts. And again, remember this fake supplements facts panel I made right here. So just look, notice how these don't say extract. That's for a reason. And then let's go over here, right? You'll see words like concentrate, extract, right? So it's going to actually tell you extract, and it'll tell you what part of the flower it came from, or a root, or whatever it is, what part of the plant rather, leaf, root, etc. This is a professionally made, properly made label. This is how Chalk does our labeling. So again, it's just to let you guys know, we are actually very serious. We are industry veterans, and we know what we're doing. So don't buy from Red Flag City Nutraceuticals, Don't buy from a company that's going to give you a bunch of unextracted herbs. That's not going to specify the part of the plant it's from. Don't buy from a company that is going to use a whole bunch of proprietary blends and hide behind them so that they can underdose you. Very, very important. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is from our blog. This is a blog I wrote a little while back called 3 Easy Ways to Tell If a Supplement is Junk. And this is a really, really awesome one, guys. So I'm really, really proud that Chalk is able to be one of the very few companies in the industry that does full disclosure labeling. Again, that's the term, full disclosure labeling. Yes, we tell you the exact number of milligrams in every single thing. And again, just to go back to that low quality vitamins and minerals thing, of course that also applies to herbs as well. Now it's harder to tell because if it's a vitamin or a mineral, you can read the molecular form, like magnesium oxide, and you can know, especially if you use this list on this blog as a reference, you can know, okay, if it has magnesium oxide, that's a crummy form. That's not what I'm going to use. But it's much harder with herbs, right? So again, one way you can do it with herbs is look, is it an extract or not, right? And then the other one is going to be, do you, put it this way, does the company seem shady in general? Are there other poor markers of quality on there? If so, there's a much higher likelihood they're going to be buying the lowest and cheapest Chinese version of each herb. You know, they're not going to be caring where the herb is grown, right? They're not going to be looking for organic. Obviously, not all chalk products, not all chalk ingredients are organic, but sometimes the organic's available, sometimes it's not with respect to certain kinds of quality. We do our best to do organic when we can, and then other times, obviously not. But, you know, there's a lot of other markers for quality. We actually, if you want, we'll send you the certificate of authenticity of one of our ingredients so you can actually see the lab values to make sure that it's underneath the proper limit for things like heavy metals, as well as bacteria and things like that. Another one that's really important to know about is, are they telling you the actual real name of the plant going in there? So for example, our rhodiola, it's called genus and species, Rhodiola rosea, genus, species, right? That's a plant taxonomy thing. So there's not just one rhodiola plant. There's also Rhodiola crenulata. So you're supposed to, as a supplements company, you're really supposed to list the entire name. So you're not just supposed to put rhodiola on something. You're supposed to put Rhodiola rosea, right? The full Latin genus species name, the technical name for it. And scroll through some of these comments really fast. So you need to list the entire name, right? And so the entire name is going to tell you what's really going on. This Rhodiola crenulata, if you buy a supplement that says Rhodiola crenulata on it, or if it just says rhodiola and doesn't have the full name, you might be getting this sort of imitation. It's a similar plant. I'm calling it imitation because crenulata does not have the same properties as Rhodiola rosea. Our Rhodiola rosea, and again, someone was asking about the organic thing. So organic, sometimes if something is wild crafted, that actually precludes it from being organic. Sometimes wild crafted is actually better. And then there are other times when a really amazing company that makes great herbal products will have a really well-grown herb that has a ton of research behind it, but does not actually have the organic certification, where that one with the clinical research and the proper labs is actually still a better choice than a generic version of an organic. So that's the reality of it, right? So no, not everything is organic certified as far as the ingredients we use. But if we can find one that has the science behind it, you know, and has the high potency extraction that is also organic, we will always pick the organic. I'm gonna let you all know real quick too, the ashwagandha that we're releasing, the company that makes it has an organic and a not organic version. The organic version is not even that much more expensive for us to buy. And of course we're doing the organic since we have the option. But you would be surprised by how few companies actually buy the organic when they're given a choice between the non-organic and the organic, and it's only like $10 or $20 more a kilogram, or, you know, just putting it out there. I'm not saying that's the actual difference, but very, very small difference. A lot of companies will still not do that. So if we can do organic, we always will, if that is the actual best in that particular space, option-wise. So that's the reality of how this stuff actually works. And again, I'm telling you guys this because we are a company that's really passionate about transparency. So yeah, definitely check this blog out if you can. We got a whole bunch of different blogs out there. And I'll just read you real quick before we go to some questions. I'll read you my conclusion. It says, don't buy from Red Flag City. Again, that's the name of the fake supplements company that puts out crappy products with proprietary blends, unextracted herbs, and low quality nutrients. Sure, their Facebook ads look pretty slick, and maybe they got some great looking testimonials on their site, but don't do it. Don't buy from Red Flag City. These are stressful, challenging times. We need real herbs, real vitamins, and real minerals that will actually make a difference in our quality of life. If you're going to use your hard-earned money to buy supplements to enhance your vitality, improve your nutrition, and help you deal with the intensity of modern life, then use these heuristics, these shortcuts that I listed in this blog, to help you make sure you're not getting ripped off. Know someone who buys any random supplement off the internet without doing any research? Send them this article so you can arm them with the tools they need to know the difference between quality supplements and junk. They will thank you. So yeah, again, chuck.com/blog. Check this guy out whenever you get a chance. And check out some of our other blogs too, and make sure that you are on the email list so that whenever we release a new blog, which is actually weekly, that you will see it right when it first comes out. Also, just to remind you guys, if you ever want to ask me any questions, obviously you can do it on the Instagram live here, and we're about to do some questions here, but you can also do YouTube. So we have a new thing. This is our new thing. If you want to ask me any question at all, go to our YouTube channel. So just type in Chalk Nation into YouTube. You can also follow our YouTube links from the homepage. And go to any video you like, whichever one you think is interesting, and just say, "Hey, Dr. Matt," or whatever. "Hey, Dr. Matt," and then ask me your question. Ask me whatever you want. I will answer anything I possibly can, as long as it's legal for me to answer, because there are certain things that are, our lawyers are like, you can't say these certain things, right? So that's just how it works, unfortunately. Don't want to get in trouble with the FDA. But anything that I can legally answer, I will answer. Ask me anything on any of our YouTube videos. Obviously, as y'all know, it's clear why we're doing that, right? Because SEO, YouTube is all about the comments, right? So for YouTube SEO, for our YouTube channel to get more traction, we want good comments. So just go on there, watch one of our videos, ask me anything. The comment doesn't even have to be specifically about that video, whatever you would like to ask, and I will answer personally all of your questions on our YouTube channel. Just pick any video and say, "Hey, Dr. Matt," and then ask me your question. All right, so let's see here. We got any good questions? What do we got? What is the process of extracting a product? Yeah, great question. So there are a lot of different ways to extract, to make an herbal extract rather. So one way that's very common is hydroethanolic extraction, which is basically a combination of water and alcohol. Some things are just extracted using water only, which is even better. And then we shy away from anything that uses an extensive amount of nasty, harsh chemicals. So sometimes they'll use things like acetone and stuff like that. So that's something that we shy away from. So we do pay attention to extraction process. We have rejected a couple ingredients because they used nasty chemicals to extract it. And the companies will say, "Oh, there's no residue of this acetone or hexane left," and we'll say no. So we don't do nasty chemical extractions. But yeah, so the process of extracting a product could be just taking a whole bunch of herbal powder and throwing it in a machine where it's just going to be constantly agitating it and mixing it with water and alcohol basically, and then sifting out all the plant material afterwards. That would be a common way of extracting something. All right, let's see. Will you ever make food? Stay tuned. That is highly likely. Highly likely, yes. Can't say anything right now, but let's just say stay tuned. Okay, what else we got? Bro, you got so much knowledge. John Fujikade. Cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. All right. What else we got? Just cracked a fresh bottle of Tonkat. Yes. Excellent. Do I take Shilajit or Tonkat first? You can take them at the same time. You don't have to take one and the other if you want. It's totally up to you. I'm taking my last Shilajit right now from Chalk. Better re-up soon. Don't want to run out of that. All right. Yeah, and for sure, you can, whatever products you like, you can take them simultaneously. It's really up to you how you want to do it, completely up to you. My Chalk finally arrived. Very cool. Very cool. Chalk's literally the only supplement company who is transparent as F. Thank you, that's a boost. Appreciate it. I have been in this industry for a while, and I've seen a lot of really, really shady as F behavior. Extremely shady. And so that's why I have been, from day one, a strong advocate of us as a company doing as many things as we can to be as transparent as possible. And again, it's one thing to just talk about transparency. I could lie to you guys and be like, "Oh, we're transparent," right? And we're actually not, right? So just saying it is meaningless, of course, but we're actually doing it. So, and because you can read any of our labels and see that our labels are all full disclosure. We do not use proprietary blends, and that's very rare. Hardly any companies do that, really. All right, what else we got here? I just took Action 2.0, ran 3 miles while it put me in the zone. Fantastic, that's very cool. Armor is amazing. You guys like Armor? Nice. Yes, I love Armor too. By the way, we do have other really cool blogs, just FYI. Let me plug some other blogs here. So, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but if you go to our blog, right? So just go to chalk.com and go to the blog. You can actually search. We have almost 50 blogs now. You can search for whatever. So let's say you want to search for detox, right? Just type into the search right here, detox, hit search, and let's see what pops up. Oh yeah, that's a whole bunch of stuff. Look at that. So, there we go, right? And notice how Chalk Armor pops up as a product as well, because Armor is also helpful for detoxification. Now, Apex Glutathione is our number one detox product, which is obviously going to be back on the market very soon. But Armor and Apex are a fantastic combination, and quercetin, which is the chief ingredient, the 20x bioavailability quercetin in here, actually is helpful for detoxification. So 20x absorption, quercetin phytosome. There we go. This guy right here. Yeah. So, all right. Mira7 is asking about cardiovascular support. So if you want to support healthy cardiovascular system and healthy blood pressure levels already in the normal range, which is the officially legally approved statement that I have to use to be compliant, then you really want to check out Action 2.0. Action 2.0 is obviously, we marketed it as an energy and mitochondrial supplement and sports performance, but if you actually pop the hood and you look at what's in there, Action 2.0 is a cardiovascular support formula as well. It's got those grapeseed extracts in there, the Anavita and also the Glucose Select, which are Italian grapeseed extracts that help with nitric oxide, helps with blood flow, helps with healthy inflammation response within the arteries and veins. That stuff is fantastic. Also it does support, so it supports blood flow. It's got other nitric oxide boosters in there as well, including S7, which is fantastic. It has Elevate-ATP and Rhodiola, which support mitochondrial energy production. So that's all great. So that's going to be, Action 2.0 is going to be your premier cardiovascular support formula, actually. All right. What would you recommend for athletes or simply just workout freaks? Yeah, well, I'm going to highly recommend that you get on at least these three: Daily, Action, and Tomcat. If you do those three, if you're an athlete, that is going to be for male athletes, right? Obviously, because Daily is a men's support product. For women, instead of doing Daily, you could just do Shilajit by itself. But then the Tomcat and the Action 2.0 are all going to be really, really good for athletic stuff. All right, both work together, did it for 3 months. Yes, very cool. Velvet Bean, yeah, for sure. So we do have Velvet Bean, also known as L-Dopa from Mucuna pruriens. The actual name of the plant is Mucuna pruriens. Velvet Bean is one of its other common names. And it contains a compound called L-Dopa, which is a natural precursor to dopamine. So yes, also for aging and for memory support, I really do strongly recommend Shilajit. Shilajit is fantastic for supporting overall vitality and healthy aging. All right, what else we got here? All right, best form of B12. Yeah, Phyllis, well, we were talking a little bit about, on that supplements quality article, we were talking about the difference between methyl B12 and cyano B12, or methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. So the ones that we use in both Action 2.0 and Apex Glutathione, those are going to be the methylcobalamin form. There are a couple of other good ones out there that are also helpful. There's one called Adenosyl, Adenosyl cobalamin, and another one called hydroxocobalamin. Those can be helpful as well. The one you want to avoid is the cyanocobalamin. That is a really junky form, and it literally contains cyanide. Of course, it's not enough cyanide to make you sick immediately, but cyanide is toxic to the mitochondria specifically, and B12 is a mitochondrial nutrient. So do you really want a mitochondrial poison attached to your B12? Definitely not. So cyanocobalamin is definitely persona non grata. Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Someone's talking about genetics. Epi means above genetics. Yeah, epigenetics is very cool, very cool. Great way to look at what something's actually doing in the body is to look at the epigenetics, which is the gene expression, basically. Actually, I want to plug another blog really fast. That's a really fun one. So, are you guys interested in learning about pesticides? I wrote this one a while back, Glyphosate Exposed, the Seralini papers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this researcher named Seralini. He did some really interesting stuff giving glyphosate, which is the active compound in Roundup, to rats. And boy, it was not good. It was not pretty. This is a really cool article. Yeah, and there was some research on the epigenetic effects of these pesticides, and you can see that it has pretty negative effects on our antioxidant pathways, and really cool article there too. So, all right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, somebody was talking about genetics and children and all that, and just remember folate. The reason that folate is recommended for pregnant women is because you need folate. Your body really needs folate in order to make sure that new DNA, which is being sort of copied from the old DNA when you have new cells, is being copied and pasted accurately, if you will, and without mutations. And so when women don't have enough folate, then you can run into problems with that for the baby. And so now, think about the kind of milieu we're in right now regarding our genes and really needing to do everything we can to prevent our genes from being mutated because we have all this weird EMF and radiations and toxins and poisons and all that stuff floating around. So folate is definitely going to be something that should be at the top of your list from a clinical nutrition standpoint if you want to make sure that your genes are going to be copied correctly when you make new cells. So I do have 800 micrograms of the best methylfolate, patented methylfolate in the world in Apex glutathione, which again will be back out in a month or two. And then we will have some folate in some other products as well. But yes, methylfolate, very important. Must do everything you can to avoid folic acid, the synthetic crappy version of folate. Yeah. All right. So somebody says, why do they always use rats for experimenting? Are they similar to us? They are. Now, there's a saying also in science that humans are not giant rats without tails, because there are certain things that are totally different from us and rats. Most other mammals can actually synthesize their own vitamin C, for example. Humans can't do that. So vitamin C studies on animals, not very relevant on other mammals. Primates just lost the biochemical ability to generate our own vitamin C. So for us, it's a vitamin. For almost every other mammal out there, they can generate vitamin C internally. So that's one example. But yes, in many ways, humans are very similar to rats. That's why we do so much rat research. It is, of course, unfortunate what we're doing to these poor rats. And I would say from an ethical standpoint, it's pretty uncool, but that's a whole other conversation. All right, somebody's talking about washing their teeth with fruit. That's fascinating. Never heard of that. All right, I think it's about time to finish up, guys. But just know I'll be back very soon to answer more of your questions. If you have any more questions and you want me to answer them personally, go to any of our YouTube videos and just put, "Hey, Dr. Matt," and then ask me your question there, and I will be answering them. I'll be getting them once a week and answering them. And you can get your answer right there on YouTube. And definitely check out our Chalk Nation YouTube channel and come back here for regular Instagram lives. So awesome. Until next time, guys, stay human. Thanks.